Good morning everyone. I am Madhuri Sharma from Lalpur Khalsa College of Engineering presenting this video for multimedia and animation technology. In continuation with the previous lecture, we are going to discuss about the introduction of multimedia system. In previous lecture, we have discussed about the what is multimedia, types of multimedia and application areas of multimedia. And today we are going to discuss more of history of multimedia. So let's begin with the discussion. As we have already discussed about the term multimedia, what actually multimedia is, it is basically the tool that helps us to create a combined file which consists of text, images, audios, videos and animation into a particular single file. But multimedia may have different point of views depending upon who are going to use those multimedias. So if we are talking about the PC vendors viewpoint about multimedia, so the vendor would be more interested in knowing how the sound capability of that particular multimedia is, or of that system is, about the DVD ROM drive, and also that enables the microprocessors that understand additional multimedia instructions. So the vendors are more into the viewpoint of capabilities, DVD ROMs, ports and processors. So if we are talking about the consumer entertainment vendors, so if we are talking about consumer entertainment vendors, so they are more interested about knowing the interactive cable TV with hundreds of digital channels available, or a cable TV like service delivered over a high speed internet connection. So their area of interest would be different. And if we talk about computer science student, so a computer science student would be more interesting in the applications that use multimedia modalities including text, images, graphs, animations, videos, sounds, including speech and interactivity. So the person who is going to use or adapt the multimedia technology, their viewpoint also matters. Every vendor, every consumer is going to have their different perspective, their different demands. So the one should also focus on the area of interest while engaging into a multimedia technology. Moving ahead, let's discuss about the history of multimedia. How multimedia have evolved over the years. The area of information technology has seen a lot of advancements from last 50 years. The size of an average computer chip is reduced to its half after every 18th month. So this is done without compressing the processing power of that chip. With the change in hardware, the software has been designed to effectively use of these hardwares. The need of using various media in a single application leads to the evolution of multimedia. From 1990s, multimedia software are being used by managers, teachers, marketing agents, doctors, engineers and many other people. So here in this discussion, basically we are going to discuss about to provide you the knowledge about multimedia, its components, and also how multimedia has evolved over the years. So if we talk about the scenario of early 20s or 30s, we are having with a newspaper. So the first mode of multimedia technology was newspapers. Perhaps the first mass communication media using text, graphics and images. So over the newspaper also we are combining the text, graphics and images and all other information at one file over one page. Then we have evolved over the years, and if we are talking about 1830s, we have introduced the concept of motion pictures. So motion pictures have conceived of in 1830s in order to observe motion too rapid for perception by the human eye. So when we are talking about motion pictures, that means anything that is in motion, which is not static, which is moving. And to provide one motion picture, we need to have 2100 of static pictures. So you must have seen the flip book. When we are flipping all the pages together, it elusively generates the motion in that particular picture. So this is how motion picture introduced and evolved over the years. The next generation comes up in 1895 with wireless radio transmissions. The Guglielmo Marconi at Pentaccio, Italy in 1895 have evolved this technology of wireless radio transmission. So with this technology we are working with audios, and we have digitized it in a way that we don't need any of the wire system to transmit the radiations from one place to another. Rather it is wireless system, and we are conveniently transmitting the audios from one location to another. So this is how it evolved. And if we talk about the evolution in 20th century, televisions have introduced. It is the new medium in 20th century which establishes video as a commonly available medium and hence changed the world of mass communication. Over television we have combined text, audios and videos all together and represent in more effective manners. Moving ahead with the discussion of history of multimedia, if we talk about the connection between computers and ideas about multimedia that covers what is actually only a short period. So if we talk about in 1945, so at that period Vannevar Bush wrote a landmark article describing what amount of hypermedia system called MEMEX. And as I have already discussed in the previous lecture, what actually the hypermedia is, it is when an image, when a picture helps to navigate from one page or one location to another. So that transmission, that routing, that is termed as hypermedia. So it was in 1945 when Vannevar Bush have introduced the concept of MEMEX. And moving ahead in 1960, Ted Nelson have introduced the concept of hypertext. Hypertext, as we have already discussed, is what? When we are clicking some text and we are navigating to some other location, other web page. You must have seen hyperlinks while working over internet, while browsing the things over websites. So you must have seen the blue underlined link, that is called the hypertext. When you click over that text, you navigate to some other web location. So that was introduced by Ted Nelson in 1960. And as and when the technology evolved, in 1967, NACLOS have introduced or formed an architecture of machine group. So what they have done is they have formulated an architecture by which, when we combine various machines, various resources all together, we can generate more effective multimedia for better and efficient results. Moving ahead, in 1968, Douglas have demonstrated the online systems, and he have introduced another concept of hypertext program in a very early stage. So that was also another evolution, drastic evolution in the field of multimedia. And in 1969, Nelson and Van Damme at Brown University created an early hypertext editor which is termed as Freeze. As evolution goes on, in 1976, the MIT architecture, which was a machine group proposal project, was entitled, and in 1977, multiple media that results in Aspen movie maps was first introduced. Afterwards, in 1978, hypermedia video disc was introduced, and which was evolved in various ways, as in 1985, Negroponte and Wisners co-founded the MIT Media Lab with these video discs, and in 1989, Tim Berners-Lee proposed the World Wide Web, which is also another drastic evolution to multimedia technology. In 1990, Christina Hooper Woolsey headed the Apple Multimedia Lab. Moving ahead with the evolution, in 1991, MPEG-1 was approved as an international standard for digital video. And in 1991, the introduction of PDAs began a new period in the use of multimedia. Then, moving on to 90s, in 1992, JPEG was accepted as the international standard for digital images. Like we are nowadays also using JPG, JPEG images. So they was introduced first in 1992, and that standard of JPEG leads to a new JPEG 2000 standard, which is a digital image compression standard. And in 1992, the first Ambone audio multicast on the net was made. In 1993, the University of Illinois National Center for Supercomputing Applications produces NCSA Mosaica, the first full-edged browser. So that was also a very drastic evolution. Moving on, in 1994, Jim Clark and Mark Andreessen created Netscape program. So the Netscape program that we are using nowadays as well was evolved in 1994, and in 1995 the Java language was created for platform independent application development, and in 1996 DVD video was introduced as high quality full length movies. And moving on to 1998, XML 1.0 was announced as a W3C recommendation, and in 1998 handheld MP3 devices first made inroads into consumerist taste. So MP3, MP4's scenario was introduced in 1998, And moving on, in 1999, with the introduction of devices holding 32 MBs of flash memory, so the memory card, memory chips concept was introduced in 1999. While evolving in 2000, www size was estimated at over 1 million pages, and till now we are all evolving in multimedia technology. So that was all about history of multimedia. Now moving on to the next topic of discussion, which is multimedia representation. So multimedia content can be represented as a combination of text, images, audio, video as a digital data. And for combining these contents, we may need some digital requirements can be there, using from analog to digital devices. So we can make use of various devices as audio. For audio, we can have microphone audio cards, and for images we can make use of scanners, digital cameras. Image editors or graphics can be used in softwares, and also for videos we can have use of analog camera plus video capture card or digital video cameras, and we can make use of video editing softwares as well. So these are the acquisition for multimedia representations. Moreover, while making multimedia file, we can make use of data playbacks from digital to analog devices as well. For that, for audios, we need to have speakerphone or audio cards, CD players, MP3 players, we can make use of them. And for images, we can have computer monitors, printers. And for videos, we can make use of computer monitors or TV with stream videos in a way, and we can also make use of DVDs, VCD, DVD, direct TVs as well. So these are the devices that can help us to produce a multimedia file. And in multimedia we can represent the text. Each text, character, letter, symbol, they have a fixed number of bits as an ASCII code, as we know. So for, let's say for A, we have the corresponding ASCII code as 0100001. So this is fixed for A. Similarly, if we are here to present, let's say, a symbol $, so there must be a corresponding ASCII code for that symbol as well. So each character, symbol, letter have their fixed number of bits, only then we can represent it. And if we want to represent an image in multimedia, so image can be represented as two-dimensional with y-axis and z-axis, and it can be arranged in units of pixels, and the value of each pixel represents the radiance intensity of the scene. For example, we can alter the intensities of color image. So there are usually three primary colors, three component colors. They are red, green and blue. So we can change the radiance intensity of these primary colors and get into other effects of, like, let's say light green, dark blue. So these variations can be imparted, and ultimately we can represent our image in more effective manner. So here each primary color can range from 0 to 225, and also we can encompass with image compression method. We can reduce the image to our choice, or we can enlarge that particular image. So these compressions can also be done with images while representing it in multimedia. Moving ahead, if we want to represent the audios in our multimedia, so how audios can be represented? So we can represent the audio as one-dimensional signal, and it is a continuous acoustic wave is digitized into a sequence of bytes. So while representing an audio, what is that? It is basically a sequence of bytes in an order. So audio compression methods can also be implemented to reduce the amount of frequencies or data, and we can convert these to MP3s, which are the audio files. So this is the way how we can represent our audios, and we can combine it with images and text in our multimedia file. And for video representation in multimedia, so how we can represent a video? Video can be represented as a sequence of image called frames. The NTSC videos has roughly 30 frames per second to create a motionary picture. And video compression standards that we follow are for MPEG 2 DVDs and MPEG 4, and compressions can be done for MP4 videos. Moving ahead, while making a multimedia project or multimedia file which includes audio, video and images, so what we have to process? We can process these on the basis of, let's say, if we want to process audios. So audios can be processed on 3 grounds. One is equalizations. The signals should be equalized and denoise, and the additional the unwanted voices must be removed from those audios. So this is how we can process the audio files. And for videos, we have to change the rate of frames. We can blend these frames, and we need to work over stabilizations. And if we talk about images, how we can process a multimedia image? So images can be processed as for navigations, how we are navigating from one image to another. Histogram equalizations, they have to be of linear sized or properties. Also denoising should be there. That means some additional noisy pixels that may are unwanted for image or degrading the quality of image, they must be removed to enhance the quality. And de-blur, sharpen, edge enhancement and many more features should be there to work on for images. So they all would be discussed while we will be doing the multimedia tools of softwares and flashes. Will all be working in those things. Next we are having is multimedia compressions. So how we can work for compressions? How actually compression works? So assume that we have 4 letters in a language wise, let's say A, B, S and Z alphabets, and we need to decode them. So to uniquely encode each letter, let us assign 2 bits each. And so we can encode A as 00, B as 01, S as 10 and Z as 11. So the message here is encoded with 20 bits, that is AAA, B, S, AAAA, Z. So this is how encoding is being done. So let us again assign A as 0, B as 100, S as 101 and Z as 111. The same message can be encoded using 16 bits now. So the basic idea behind this compression is to assign shorter code words to more frequently used symbols. So we can have the quotations, we can have a symbol notation for more frequently used things. So this is how compression can be done in multimedia. And we are having certain compression standards in order to enable communication between different media resources. Compression standards are established as in audio. So differential pulse code modulation, that is DPCM, adaptively predictive coding and linear predictive coding, and MPEG audio coders, that are MP3s, they are the standards of audio. And for images, if we talk about the graphics interchange format, that is GIFs, joint photographic experts group, that is JPEG, ranging from 10 to 20, and JPEG 2000, they all are the standards for images. And if we talk about videos, the moving JPEGs, MJPEGs, and ITUs, and MPEG 1, MPEG 2 and 4, MP4s, they all are the standards for videos. So this is all for today's discussion, and today we have discussed about the multimedia history, the multimedia representations, and multimedia compressions. So I hope this session will definitely help you all about knowing more about multimedia. So this is all for today's discussion, and we'll continue with the upcoming lectures. Thank you for today. Thank you very much.